Well, hello there. It's Beards and Bangers, and today I thought I would give you a bit of an update on my MG ZT190 Husley Bear. As you may have seen in a recent video, he's back on the road after a 3-month absence. So he went in for MOT work at the beginning of January, start of the year, and Austin at AJF Motor Engineers has done quite a few jobs to it, so we'll have a little walk round and see what's happened, and then we'll take him for a little spin.
Welcome to Beards and Bangers.
So I bought the car in June last year. It was from Nottinghamshire, and the guy who had it had been unable to drive it because he became arthritic, but the car had stood for quite some time, so all the brakes were completely kind of knackered. I did manage to drive it back. It had very juddery brakes. I think the ABS was definitely not working. So one of the first jobs was to get the discs and pads changed, and that improved things immeasurably. And we'll splice in a clip now of how the car looked. So here we can see the what the wheels used to look like. Pretty hideous. Faded badge at the front there, very milky headlights, so they've been polished up. Yeah, those wheels, oh my god. And they weren't even lacquered or even had any colour, they were just bare metal. Probably can't quite see, there's the original exhaust, and that the whole exhaust section was rotten. So I got that off pretty quick. But yeah, it's amazing how far this car's come on. This is when I just got it, June last year. The other thing, while we're here, the car had some really nasty aftermarket alloys on. So sort of back end of last year, I managed to source a set of these 11s, which needed refurbishment. So tripped alloy stars, and we got these wheels refurbished and then put on the car. And the old alloys were weighed in, so you can probably see them in the clip I've just spliced in. And they really made the car look so much better. And then while we're at this corner here, you can see some nice fresh paint and underseal under here. So Austin has welded in a new jacking point because that was rotted out, and was gradually getting crumblier and crumblier. And he's done a really nice job of respraying this in the royal blue. One thing we do need to do with this car fairly soon is to give it a machine polish, or clay bar and then a machine polish. Yeah, so new brakes up front as well. There was also the front jacking point on this side needed doing too. It's interesting because normally you expect the jacking, the sills to go on the near side where all the muck and crap is coming out of the verges, but it was actually the offside. So I suspect this has been welded up previously on this side, so nothing had to happen on this side at all. But we can get a good appreciation of the wheels and the muck on the car from driving it back yesterday. So I haven't had anything else painted. So the bumpers both need painting really, but this is my not daily transport, because as you know I've got a company vehicle which I use on a daily basis during the week, but this is definitely my kind of jump in the car at the weekends car. And living on a street where there's no driveways, no garages, I just think, you know, the chances of it getting smashed, you know, scuffed are quite high. So yeah, leaving the bumpers for now until they get really shabby. But yeah, there's a bit of paint needed. The bonnet has been resprayed in the past by the previous owner, but it's a little bit orange peely. We'll get the polish on it and see if that makes a difference. This car does need a, you know, real good paint correction, and then we can see where we are. One thing I did do was put new badges on. Oh, that's not stuck on very well. I have to get some extra glue in that. So new badges on the front, new centre caps on the alloys, which look really nice, and a new badge on the back. This has been refixed down here. And the other thing I did pretty early on was get this stainless steel exhaust put on. Now, this was a 350 quid off eBay job, so not the best quality. You can see it's a stainless steel system, but you've got ordinary welds, so the welds are rusting. One thing I will do in the future, because I'm not happy with this back box aesthetically, and that sounds really fussy, but I do want it to have the twin tips here, and zero exhaust do make a complete system for these cars, so that will be going on at some point. I've left the tow bar on because it offers a little bit of protection when you live in a street like mine, in case someone does park a bit fruitily, shall we say. And the other thing I did was put the smiley plate on the back, because it had a normal number plate, and I think Rover 75s, MGZTs have got to have a smiley plate on the back, because they look so much better. So that's pretty much it for the exterior. It's come on a hell of a long way. I say the next steps outside of the car are paint correction as best we can, and then at some point a new exhaust, and then maybe in the future some more panels getting resprayed. The other thing that needed doing, and I'll be interested in people's comments, one thing before I go back inside the car, I need to find a blanking plate for here. So if anyone knows where you can get these, or if anyone's got one, preferably in royal blue, then do let me know. Interesting that you can see where the paint's just flaking off slightly. This is not the original bumper for this car, because it's trophy blue underneath. Back inside, right, I interrupted myself there, which happens on B&B. So new floor mats, X-Part do have these, so it's got new floor mats all round with the MG logo on. Sorry, it's a bit messy because I've had a bit of a road trip this weekend, which was great fun. So new floor mats all round, that makes a massive difference. Little details when you're restoring a car just make the difference, I think. And you may remember this car had Aztec seats, and this driver's bolster wasn't just worn. These always wear out on MGZs, you know, Rover cars as well. So I managed to get these from Project Nigel. What was that? Probably back in November, and wrestled to get them in. And then during the MOT, the seat connectors weren't the same, so Austin's connected all the wires back up. The seat belts pre-tensioner wasn't connected, so that's all been sorted out under here. So we're now fully safe. We'll come back to the airbag, the saga of the airbag, in a minute. Oh, I'm not fully open. Let's open him up. Yeah, so yeah, new seats all round. Getting the seat base and the squabs in was a bit of a problem for me, so I got that finished off as part of the MOT work. And the other nice thing is, we can see we've got a brand new headlining in here. So the headlining in this car, I mean, Rover Group cars, MG Rover cars, are notorious for their headlining sagging, but this one was really bad. It was hanging off at the back here, so I had it taped to the back windscreen to stop it flapping down and blocking the rear view mirror. You know, really needing, so it's been done. It's in black, so it's not the original colour, but I really like this because having the black seats and having the black headlining, which obviously match, means you get a lovely contrast looking out the window. So it just makes the brightness, yeah, the car's darker inside, but it actually makes the windows brighter. I don't know, it's an aesthetic thing again. And then the big saga with this car was the airbag light, so it just would not go out. So I think step one was checking all the connections, sorting out the connections under the seats, sorting out the connections behind the rear seats, the connection in the steering wheel, taking the module out, setting that off to have any codes cleared from it, and also taking the instrument pack out and having it resoldered, and that fixed it. So resoldering the instrument pack along with the module got the airbag light to go out, thankfully. So inside, the only real job that need doing, I'll take you back actually, the very first job I actually did on this car was to replace this switch. So the driver's window switch had popped out, which again is quite a common thing. The electric windows weren't, the electric window controls weren't, electric mirror controls weren't working. So I got a brand new one of these, popped it in, didn't video that, but that was the first job I did back in probably July last year, was to replace that. So that was the very first job that was done. Second was the brakes, third was the exhaust. Yeah, I was pleased with the exhaust. We needed to get something on the car pretty quick. And I'll just now pop the bonnet, but we'll have one more thing inside that needs doing. Is I'm actually having a double din radio put in here, because I want DAB, I want Apple CarPlay mirroring, so I can use the sat nav, because I don't really like having the quad lock there. It's a bit kind of well, it's not ideal having something stuck to the window like that. But yeah, I'll be getting a double din with CarPlay, DAB, all the bells and whistles, and a reversing camera as well, because I think that's a handy thing to have in these cars. This car does not have reversing sensors. There we are. So well, we'll do the magic trick of opening the bonnet one-handed. The YouTuber's nightmare, opening the bonnet with one hand. There we are. So under the engine bay, not an awful lot's happened under here. If we have a peer down here, I don't know how well you can see, the metal coolant pipe that runs behind the radiator has been replaced. And then we've had a new inlet manifold put on, because the old one was rattling. And the car's still drivable, but you've got no low down power at all. Economy's, fuel economy is really bad. And I've had the Viz motors replaced as well, so they're brand new Viz motors. So you can get those from Discount MG Rover Spares, brand new. The oil in this looked like it hadn't been changed for donkey's years. So Forte flush, oil change back in November. That's key thing with these. With KV6s are brilliant cars, but you've got to keep on top of the oil changes. So that was done as well. I put a new air filter in, new battery. We had a Rover 25 size battery in here, so that was changed back in November as well. So that's pretty much where this car has been so far. So the very next job is to have the double din radio put in, which obviously I'm not doing myself, because that would not be a good idea. But the next thing that I'll be doing is to do some paint correction, getting the paint look nice. Enough talking. Let's just go for a short drive, just so you can hear some sights and sounds of Husley Bear. One thing I should add is that the aircon was regassed, but I think actually needs regassing again, because it's not blowing hot, which these cars can do, but it's blowing sort of lukewarm stroke cool air. So I will need to get that looked at. Could be that there's a leak somewhere, because when I had it done last year, the aircon ran beautifully. I think one of the things I love about this car and this engine is you can drop right down to 25 miles an hour in fifth gear and then pull away without having to change down. It's a seriously good engine. I don't think I could have done that before I had the inlet manifold changed last year, because the power just wasn't there. But it's a strong engine. Yeah, I'm quite interested in the KV6 because it's so different from the K series, even though they both sort of share the K name. And what I would love to do is to drive a Rover 800 with the early KV6 engine, because of course they had an alloy inlet manifold rather than the plastic variable length we've got on this car. Plus, they had twin throttle bodies. So I'd really like to, if anyone's got one, then do get in touch, because I would love to take one of those out for a test drive. Cool. Right, so I'll get you on beard cam for a moment, because I want to really show you what happens with this car. Hopefully you can appreciate the acceleration and the sound. Yeah, this car is happiest when it's driving at 4,000 revs plus. The power just really kicks in, you feel it change. And and that's the Viz motors altering the length of the inlet manifold. So you end up with this surge of power between sort of 4,000 and 5,500 RPM. So the car's happiest when it's doing that. What isn't happiest is my bank balance, because it does noticeably make the fuel gauge drop. It would have to rain, wouldn't it? But yeah, we can enjoy the drive nonetheless. There we are. Yeah, we did a 350-mile round trip this weekend, this long May Day weekend, and the car just did not miss a beat. The only fault was one of the lights had got loose when I changed the the light gaskets at the rear. And obviously dislodged something, so the brake light on the passenger side wasn't working. Then it mysteriously did. So I'll have to have a little look at the connections under there. But yeah, it's driving like a dream. One thing I will have to get done at some point is the timing belts, because there's no history with this car whatsoever. Don't know when they were last done. So I will get the timing belts done just to be on the safe side. Because, you know, it would be such a shame to have spent the time and money getting this car right, and then for it to go pop. That wouldn't be good. That would not be good. So thank you very much for watching this major update on the MG ZT 190 Husley Bear. I am just so thrilled to have this car back. You would not believe it, because I really do love this car, because it's come from being such a basket case to actually a really nice vehicle. Yeah, there's still jobs to do, there always will be. It's a just over 20-year-old car. There's always going to be stuff to do, but I'm passionate about keeping cars like this on the road, which is why I bought it, because I bought it for scrap value. It could easily have been scrapped. You know, the temptation's there for people to do that, but I didn't. I saved another one. And it's really good news, and it's turned into a nice car. So massive thanks to Austin, massive thanks to AJF Motor Engineers. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Still, we'll have some more jobs to do on this car, which we'll bring you, but for now, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already done so, hit subscribe and share with your friends and get them to subscribe as well, because the channel's growing all the time, and your support really does make a massive difference, so thank you. But I will say goodbye for now. Goodbye.